Chapter 5 A Clue at the Zoo in the Pool. Hong Kong is one of the deepest harbours in the world, so Bruce had plenty of time to reflect on his life as he and Jed sank to their almost certain death. Mostly he found himself regretting not having eaten more. Sure, he had eaten quite a bit, but if he had cut out sleeping and really focused on it, he reckoned he could probably have eaten at least twice as much. Jed, on the other hand, wasn't going down without a fight. He held onto the cage with his paw to steady himself, and positioned his other paw in front of the lock with his palm facing forward. Bruce floated over to see what he was doing. He watched as Jed raised his palm and thrust himself towards the lock, so to Bruce's surprise, the cage door swung open. Jed burst through, quickly followed by Bruce. They broke the surface, coughing and spluttering, and swam to the bank. "How did you open the cage?" asked Bruce, gasping for breath. "I remembered that the air key open palm move works better when used underwater," replied Jed, "and this time I twisted the right way." Back in the airport, Donnie, Chuck, and Thoreau had found no trace of Jed and Bruce. "They're not answering their phones either," said Donnie. "Something is up." "You may be right," said Chuck, "but we must continue with the mission and wait for them to contact us. Jed may get himself into trouble a lot, but he is very capable of getting himself out of it again. Thoreau, take us to the zoo man you spoke of." The battered suitcase set off across the car park once more, and was soon safely tucked inside the van. The Meerkats wriggled out from underneath their disguise, and found themselves in the company of two sleepy sloths. As the van set off, Donnie emptied out the suitcase and repacked his stuff into a neat backpack. One of the sloths half opened one of its eyes for a second, glanced at him, and then went back to sleep, which, if you know anything about sloths, is about as exciting as they get. When they arrived at the zoo, Thoreau had led Donnie and Chuck to Ming's cage. The zoo was quiet at night, and they were able to move around without needing a disguise. They slipped through the bars of the cage, and Chuck and Donnie set about checking it for clues. "What are you looking for?" asked Thoreau. "The police already searched it." "Then no doubt they are now looking for a man with extremely large feet," said Chuck. "Look at this." In the middle of a pile of tiger dung was an enormous footprint. "Surely a giant would make such a big track," said Thoreau nervously. "Not a giant," replied Donnie. "A clown. And I bet I know whose clown," said Chuck. "The ringmaster's." Suddenly there was a sound of dramatic music. "What's that?" asked Thoreau, jumping in fright. Donnie pulled out his phone. "That's my new ringtone. Hello? Oh, hi, Jet." "Where is he?" demanded Chuck. "Hold on, I'll put it on speakerphone," replied Donnie. "Jet, Bruce, why didn't you two answer your phones?" asked Chuck. "Bruce has lost his, and mine stopped working after we were thrown into the harbour by Sheffield and Grimsby," replied Jet. "We're calling from a payphone. We caught a ferry into the city centre." "So the clowns are in town," said Chuck. "Have you found out anything else?" "Yes," said Bruce. "Jet's air key open palm move works underwater." "I'm glad to hear that," said Chuck. "But have you discovered anything of importance to our mission?" "We overheard the clowns talking about a light show and New Year's Eve," said Jet. Chuck turned to his brother. "Any idea what that means, Thoreau?" "No idea," he replied. Another voice came over the phone. "Testing. 1 2 1 2." "Who is that?" asked Chuck. "I don't know. It's coming through a big speaker just above us," said Jed. "Testing. 1 2," said the voice. "This is the Hong Kong New Year's celebration commentary, broadcasting across the whole of the city for tonight's Chinese New Year light show, when the skyscrapers will light up the city and the fireworks will light up the sky. For the best view in town, why not take the tram up to the peak, 552 meters above sea level?" "The clowns just mentioned something about a peak," said Jet. "I think it's where the circus has set up camp." "Then that's where we will go," said Chuck. "Meet us at the tram terminal. The nearest bin should provide adequate cover." "Okay," said Chad, ringing off. "Thoreau, we must take our leave," said Chuck. "But I want to come with you, Chuck," protested Thoreau. Chuck shook his head. As brothers, we were both born wild, but your time in the zoo has tamed you. You are hand-fed, and the only danger you face is the possibility of a child mistaking you for a soft toy and cuddling you to death. For me, danger is as real as the scar on my face. Can't I help at all? asked Tro. You already have. You alerted us to Ming's disappearance. Now, return to your cage knowing that you have played an important part in this mission. The brothers hugged, then Chuck and Donnie took their leave.